Yeah, she's in Belize.
Oh, how lovely.
Lovely, lovely.
The weather's great here, why go to Belize?
Now I'm going to Arizona. Apparently you had 100 last week.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm like, I'm not ready for that.
So you're down.
128.
It is 6 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the city council meeting of Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Take this opportunity to ask everybody to double check your ringers and make sure that you're on quiet mode or do not disturb mode. And with that, if you would all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Could I get a roll call, please?
Westwood,
Here.
Battles,
Here.
Daniel, Davis. Here. Ronnie,
Yes.
Rude,
Yes.
Stupin.
Yes. All right, so just an observation, we are missing one council member. So we have 5 members present. It still requires 4 affirmative votes for everything of action. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda as written.
I have a motion from Council Member Ronnie,
I'll second.
second from Council Member Tupin. Any discussion at the table? All right, hearing now. Let's go ahead and make it official.
Battles,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Rude,
Yes.
Stupin.
Yes.
All right, 5-0, motion passes. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 10th.
I move to approve the minutes of March 10th, 2026.
Second. Is that a second?
Yes.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Ronning and a second from Councilmember Battles. Discussion at the table. Hearing none, can I get a roll call vote?
Battles.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Rude,
Yes.
Stupin.
Yeah.
All right, 5-0, motion passes. All right. Let me go up to mayor's comments, and I'll start by saying, hey, we have a short agenda. That's okay. There's kind of a lot of stuff in development, so the second half of the meeting, I won't speak for it. We'll see how that goes. It's kind of a byproduct of when we do. Sometimes there are surges, and sometimes if we have meetings with lots of public comment, there's not a lot of progress made in those ones that are there. As far as mayor's comments, approved events. There is an Easter egg hunt at Lions Park on April 4th that has been approved. Snow Creek Dance on July 17th.
No what?
Snow Creek Street Dance.
Oh.
July 17th. Did I leave out the street? And I just said Snow Creek Dance? And yeah, I could see that. So that's July 17th and 19th, so that does involve a street closure. The Beartooth Hospital Bash is going to be at the airport common area on August 1st. That's the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. The Red Lodge Ren Fair is going to be July 30th to August 4th. And just for clarification, I know folks at the table are aware, but in case people in the public are not aware, that is not the same Ren Fair group that has been here. It's a lot of the same people, but it's a different event. That event is happening at Metro this year, and this is an event of folks sponsoring, again, to get it in Red Lodge and kind of help extend our season there. And then this Saturday, which is 3/28 from 1 to 3, there's a No Kings rally at the north lawn of the library that I have approved as well.
This Ren Fair is going to be 5 days or 6 days. I don't know if there's 31 days in July. What are they doing?
There's going to be some camping, I think, for much of it. So I think think of like a Ren Fair / rendezvous-ish kind of style, or kind of like the Beartooth Rally up there. I think they have days planned for camping. And I don't know if that's just the vendors coming in early to camp, but their event is primarily on the weekend, but they've requested and are under renting for that time frame.
So people can come in earlier.
Yeah, and I think it's so they can come in and camp and stuff.
Okay.
So I think it's going to look different from what the previous ones are. I don't know if there's still some ongoing conversations, but whether it'll be like camping is on the west side of the road going into that, and then parking on the east side of the road.
Okay.
So part of it is they're kind of waiting to get a feel for how many people will be there. There really is no good guess at this point. It could be anywhere from nobody to everybody who came last year, which was 17,000 people and liked it, could say, hey, we like Red Lodge and we're going again.
Okay,
So somewhere between those two numbers is probably a good guess.
okay.
So, I just have a quick question. The Beartooth Ball is August 1st, right, not September? Because that's not
Oh,
Labor Day weekend.
I wrote August 1st, but I wonder if it was wrong, if it was a 9, because it is the Labor Day, oh, no.
I saw it.
Sorry. Beartooth Hospital Bash is August 1st. That's,
Yeah.
I confused it with the airport event, which is Labor Day Sunday.
Okay.
Those are two different
Those
events.
are-
That's my bad.
So that will be the same time as the Ren Fair, but there'll be two different areas of the,
Yes.
up there.
Yeah, so this will be at the airport, this will be over on the other side of Rodeo Park.
Okay.
Okay.
A lot.
Thank you for calling it, because the title is right there, the Hospital Bash, and I just didn't write it down.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a lot of traffic going up and down that hill that day.
Good too.
Anything else on events? Okay, just a reminder to the public, the resort tax survey is out. It's accessible via the city website. If you go down to the news, there's a current issues tab. It's pretty easy to get to, or you could just do a search for resort tax survey. I want to say we're close to 400 survey results in already, that are there. So I suspect it's probably going to go through the end of next week and then shut it down and they'll take it. The last time they did this, it was kind of like the data didn't change drastically after the first 2 days, and it was kind of the same, it was pretty consistent. But the plan is to leave that up through the end of next week. So just encourage everybody to go get in and do that. Councilmember Tupin.
Money. Do we have that deadline on anywhere listed
No.
for folks to know?
We should do that. You are correct.
Thank
That
you.
was just that they had talked about that internally, but it hasn't. So let me,
I've just
Make a quick
received that
note.
question a couple of times and did not have the answer, so that's good.
post deadline online. I'll work about it.
I tried to access
So, if we hold on a second, we'll get to public comment. We'll take comments at that point.
I can't access the survey, so it's timely to ask about that. Is it on Google?
It's on the city website, so,
I went through the city
Okay.
website on Firefox and it doesn't go through.
okay, noted. We'll check it and do a follow-up. Any other discussion at the table on events or survey? Okay. 50/50 sidewalk program, there have been 3 applications received so far that Public Works is reviewing, which means there's still money out there to be claimed. Because even if all 3 of those were the maximum city match, which is 10,000, then that would still mean there's 30,000 that's out there.
20,000.
Pardon?
Okay. 20.
20,000 project for a 10,000 match.
Right, but if there's 3 projects, that's 30,000, so there's 20,000
There,
left.
yeah, if they were all maxing out. Public math.
Math is hard.
All right. For the public notice and also for council, April 30th, so not March 30th, April 30th at 5:30 at the Roosevelt, there is going to be a meeting from the URD, the Urban Renewal District. What's going to happen is Kansas State is going to come and present their visioning exercise they did for the north part of town. And then they are also going to, they'll take a break in the middle, and the second part of that, they're also going to put together some potential park ideas for the Rocky Fork property as well.
Oh.
So it'll be kind of the 2 gateways and what people see as they come into town. And that is a public meeting, and we'll be making sure that there are notices of that, but I'm just throwing it
At
out
the
there
Roosevelt
for
Center?
early planning. It's at the Roosevelt from 5:30 to 7. And the planner will be here, and Kansas State will be here. We have one person from them, and there'll probably be a couple of other extra folks on the presenting side. And the day of the week that is, you were just looking at yours?
Right, or Thursday.
It is a Thursday?
Yeah, this is Thursday.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, Thursday.
We got not to take notes in the middle. Okay. In process, but not ready, just since we've got such a light agenda, stuff that's kind of in process, and I'm sure that I will not get everything here, but I will try to, I'll do my best to kind of give an update. These are just the ones where staff specifically has assignments or homework involved, so the second half of the meeting, there will also be the stuff council's discussing on. First off, remember it's bear season. We're just starting into the lot, so lock your cans, don't overfill. There are stickers that are probably going to be going out in about the next 2 to 3 weeks. I think they're going to get printed next week, and they basically just have don't overfill, lock your cans, and then they have a QR code that goes to the city webpage, which has videos on how to open your trash can, how to report if your trash can's not working, and that sort of thing. And so that's kind of the other part of that, is if your trash can isn't working yet, you can either report that online or just call the front office. We are working with, we had identified 167 that we were trying to get replacement cassettes or cans for. There was a meeting that was supposed to be last Tuesday that ended up happening on Friday. So I don't know the specific details, but we're trying to get those all closed up. Also related to that, we are expecting the final contract with the changes, so that could be on the next council. I'm expecting that'll be on the council meeting. I'm a concern there because pretty much they can't jump their rates up until we have a contract and an approved MOU so that our rates can follow it. And so they have an interest in knowing they don't get to raise our rates until they have us a contract that talks about that we've approved.
Okay.
You have a look on your face. I just make sure I'm answering the questions.
No, yeah, no, it's,
I was hoping to have that Friday and be able to include that in the packet, but it did not get all the way through, so Mike's still going through that. Councilmember Tupin.
can I request a list of the trash cans
A list of the trash
that
cans?
need replacing?
Oh,
Because I have a list and I'd like to compare.
okay. Or more importantly, email yours to the Public Works Director, and then they compare it.
Okay.
If you want to get with me, and it's the GIS application that we have online,
Mhm.
so you can go out and see where all those little dots are.
Cool.
So, but more importantly, if you have a list that's bad, please get that
Yeah.
to Public Works or the front office, and we can go from there. Tennis courts, another work in process. Right now, what we're working on is making sure that we have the right-of-way to build up there. There's an easement for a road that doesn't exist anymore that goes to the nature center that's from before where the road went, where it currently goes. And then there's also part of that land that is leased to the high school that we need to get there. So we basically need clear title before we can proceed, and that'll be coming to the council for approval. And the goal at that same time is we would have an MOU with the high school for maintenance, because the idea is they will be maintaining it for their first dibs right on it. That will be what that MOU is about. So that's still under development, but just in the pipeline. The trail, coming down the Greg O'Neill, I guess I refer to it as that, is the donation, is a work in progress. They've been doing a lot of survey work over the last week. And the attorneys and the survey company are working on that. So again, that could be for discussion at one of the next meetings as soon as that's done.
And I'd like to recommend this letter from Jennifer Lyman and Tom Lyman about that hill. And this might be the same thing that Melissa Griffith and Tom Coley are concerned about over at the disc golf, same geological problem. But I'd like to, I think she recommends having a community discussion about it, and I would concur with her about that.
Okay. My guess is that'll probably go to Parks.
Lovely.
Is the first place, and before it comes to us there.
Okay.
I will say that I had a little bit of a follow-up conversation. I don't know his last name, but there's James, who's part of Beartooth Trails, who's up working with him, was actually a retired engineer geologist, and he was. I will say that my understanding is that they're not planning on having any heavy equipment on it at all.
Good. All right.
And that, just so the public is aware, that's a letter that council received today. We handed out. It will be in the packet for the full public in the next packet.
Interesting.
Okay. Which part is interesting?
The whole letter was interesting.
Oh, yeah, it was well written. All right. Airport interlocal, still work in process. So that'll be something, again, it'll come to council below the fold for discussion before it comes up for action. The rodeo MOU, we're still working on. I'm looking at the line, so, I'm still working on the updated budget spreadsheet that has kind of a follow-up on what we did before, which was just the part related to the fire district annexation. But it's kind of, we're collecting all that information. The goal is 1st of May, and I think we'll beat that quite easily. And that'll be kind of the graphic presentation of where the money's coming from. And it's going to help facilitate that discussion about the fire annexation, and our budget issues.
So is that budget spreadsheet for the entire budget, or is
Yes.
it, okay,
It'll be updated for the budget, but having said that, half of it is going to talk about, we have a problem, we need to figure out how we're
Okay.
going to address it.
so will you let me know when I need to add that to admin and finance?
I will.
Thank you.
Okay. There is a three-way land swap, again, the surveyors and the city attorney is working on down by the fire department. They are basically trading some land with the people to the north of them, and they're making the city's part of it is that the alley that goes through there is going to change and move a little bit further west. And interestingly enough, it's where it used to be, but that is something that's going to be coming up for council. So again, just kind of getting the heads up information out there. Front office, as you probably noticed, that we're doing some upgrades there and getting an ADA bathroom. Mostly there's one small little thing that's not quite by the letter of the book, but there's a wall there. So that's an improvement going on. Fire district annexation, I already kind of talked, that'll be part of the presentation. I do have, I did get the stuff from Bridger and Bear Creek. Bridger is actually being driven by the fire district, so their city council did not do a resolution on it yet. They just accept the petition when it's all done. Our process is a little bit different, and we're pursuing a resolution as we start it, just to say that we as city council are supporting this and moving forward. So that's an extra step that we have, but it's a formality. The process is still the same, it's still the petition. Another thing that we're working on is the traffic sign request process. So Mike is putting together, it'll be a budget request for this upcoming year, where that is going to be built off of not the camera option, but the just kind of ticker option. He's building that out, and he said, I will bring it to you when it's complete, but it's not ready yet. And to collect that, there's going to be a couple of those devices and the support to software and stuff to do that with. And then we're going to be kind of doing a comprehensive kind of overview and looking through town at kind of stop signs and stuff once we get that information in. Councilmember Rood has thrown out some ideas for that block over by the skate park and the Boys and Girls Club specifically. So I think that'll be part of that discussion, that there's things we can do there to help slow traffic down. Cool. There's still the on kind of going Mike list as things schedule. We're going to get some crosswalks painted with a lot better call outs on Broadway. They're doing the sidewalk grading, and then we've got some pretty major street stuff coming fairly early on. He's out in training in Great Falls this week until Wednesday, by the way. I think that's that's what I have for notes. I said, I'm sure I've missed something, but Councilmember Tupin.
Just a request for some of the public works projects that will be happening this summer.
Okay.
Would be a preliminary or rough schedule of road closures, shutdowns, and work in progress. I think that's really helpful to get that information out sooner than later, because there's nothing worse than walking out in the morning to see trucks.
Thank you. That's fair. What I can offer is there is, and I don't know that I have it in here, I'm forgetting what the initials are for the street project we have right now. That we're looking at that going out for bid, and I want to say that'll be kind of the end of the month that'll be something that'll be coming to council to approve as well.
Okay.
And then that's when we can request to make sure they keep us posted and get that posted online.
Yeah, that'd be very beneficial. I think last summer was a big improvement in terms of how that was getting announced on a fairly regular basis, put on the socials, and I think that city did a pretty good job, so just continuing that would be great.
Thank you. All right. With that, let's go ahead and open up public comment. And Betsy, I would invite you to stand up and and say your part earlier, just make sure that we didn't lose any of it in the format of the meeting. So, but this is open for anybody in the public. So we'll go ahead and open public comment. We'll look to the room first.
Thank you. I was curious why I couldn't access the resort tax survey, and I wonder if one of you computer techies could tell me. Do we have to go through Google?
I just clicked the link. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
What server are you using to link?
I have, and I would say just kind of on a wide level, if you're having issues, call into the front desk and see if we can help you through. But this is on an iPad and I'm not in a Google. And if I go to the current projects and nope, sorry.
There's
I'm going
actually a line you can click on, but.
Yeah, Resort Tax Community Survey. And I've started a couple times and not had issues with it. I wonder if it's opening up a second window where it says, please click here.
I'll try again.
So, yeah. If you have a problem, please call into the front office, and because we certainly want to give people an opportunity to do that. And then that's the page we'll put that deadline on to.
You can have your.
Thank you, Betsy.
Pop-ups. Your pop-ups could be blocked, because it opens another page.
Yeah, if it does open another page, so if it's blocking a pop-up window on top of it, that could be it. So, and then I'll make a note about pop-ups, because I can test that.
Okay.
We can test that and see if it works.
I'm using Edge, Microsoft Edge, so it works in that.
Okay.
What?
Ew.
It's on a laptop, I know.
All right,
I know.
thank you.
Works with that.
Other
It works
public
with that.
comment in the room? All right, seeing no public comment in the room, I think I see there's a raised hand online. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Oh, you're muted. Rebecca, you're muted.
Will you unmute her from our end in case, there, maybe?
She's smiling, so she must know.
Oh, you can see me. I can't see me. Okay, that's probably good. I just wanted you to know that Don Hardy and I also cannot see the tax survey. We've been trying to access it and cannot do that.
Thank you. All right.
Where did you find the mute?
Anything else, Rebecca? All right.
Yes,
Thank you.
We are completely opposed to building the ice rink across the street, and I would rather spend all that money in a lot of other places, including sidewalks all over our entire community that really need improvement. And the ice rink is something that would be dreamy if our tax situation found it fine, but it's in terms of not living in a luxury environment, it seems like we should just take care of what we must, like our plumbing and sidewalks and so forth. So core items. And my husband, Donald, and I are opposed to building any sort of dramatic improvement to the ice rink across the street from our house, which is on North Hauser on Lions Park.
All right. Thank you, Rebecca and Dawn. Any other
I think we're still
comments?
online.
Oh, go ahead.
Even on that.
I need someone to mute me. Oh my God.
Okay. Muted accomplished. All right. Any other comments online?
I can just walk around. I need someone to mute me.
Lonnie, can you see the full list? I can only see partial.
Yeah, nobody else is.
All right. Public comment going once. Calling for public comment twice. 3 times calling for public comment. We'll go ahead and close that. Thank you all. With that, we will be to the action items on the agenda. So we have a couple of appointments to make. And let me go to the list we got. So the first one is the Police Commission. It is the duty of the mayor to nominate with consent of council 3 residents of the city to serve as the Police Commission. Red Lodge Municipal Code sets the limits of each term to 4 years. MCA sets terms to 3, and we modified ours to match theirs. And anyway, therefore code trumps, and I think we modified it, so this, we'll have to check for the person doing minutes, we'll have to check if our code updated that to 3 years. I want to say we did it to match, but if not, ours will trump the municipal code.
I thought we did.
Yeah, I think we did too, but we'll just validate that. So, the first one is I would like to, reappoint, with the consent of council, Nate Davis, who is currently on the police board and has said that his schedule is able to, and he'd be happy to do that going forward. And in addition, I would like to appoint, Pete Critelli, whose letter of interest was also in the board. So I think probably official, what we do is have a motion to approve the mayor's appointees in a second, and then discussion, and we'll go from there.
I need to appoint the mayor's appointees to the police commission.
I second.
I have a motion from Council Member Running, a second from Council Member Rude. Thank you. Any discussion at the table? Council Member Davis.
Did you say there were 3 positions? Open?
There were 2 positions that were expiring open at this point in time. There will be a third that will expire in June.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling that out, because close enough, we probably ought to be thinking of having an eye to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Battle?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Rude?
Yes.
Tupin? Yes.
All right, 5-0, the motion passes. Next up, we have the park boards. Let me read the park board one. The Red Lodge Parks Board is a volunteer position consisting of 7 members. 4 members must be local residents. 2 members can live within the 5-mile radius of the city limits. And 1 member is a member of city council, and just for everybody's refresher, that is Council Member Root. All members are appointed to the mayor with city council approval. This is for a 3-year term. So the first one, Sarah Thorson's term expired in 2026. I'd like to reappoint her. And Beth Graham's term, according to city records, expires in 2028. However, she indicated that she was done serving on that, and so we advertised the position. And I would like to appoint Mitch Cross to that position. And just for clarity, that would be for the remainder of that term, which is January 1st, 2028, and that's just to keep it staggering as it goes through. I would entertain a motion to accept the appointees.
I move to appoint Sarah Thorson and Mitch Cross to the Parks Board.
I'll second.
Have a motion from Councilmember Root, a second from Councilmember Tupin. Any discussion at the table?
Is Midge on another board too?
Beartooth Trails.
Okay.
Well, she is also on the
Let's say.
Urban renewal.
Yeah.
Urban Renewal.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like the,
So
yeah. I think that's
we have a small town. Well, I'm very grateful
Lots of
for
hats.
people who step in and donate time and fill lots of hats. Any other discussion at the table? All right, hearing none. Could I get a vote, please?
Battle?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Rude?
Yes.
Tupin?
Yes.
All right, 5-0, motion passes. There were some late submissions that came in, and after talking with the council president, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait and put those positions on the next meeting, just so we can include those in the packet, and the public will have a chance to look at those as well. So we will have, at next meeting, there will be some additional appointments to make, but that's all I have for today. And there is a new, actually, we've had the business meeting done at half past before. So that is the action item. So at this point, for the public, this is when we move to the council work session. I mean, it's still a city council meeting, but it's basically the standing committees talk about what's on their agenda, what they're working on, and get the input from the rest of council as to those. With that, we'll start with public health and safety. And that committee chair, Daniels, is out of town this week, so Ann Wood took that one.
It's like, I can't do it. Well, we had a nice meeting, and Greg Schrock, Chief Schrock was there, and he was there for the full almost hours, which was nice, because we got to ask a lot of questions, and we didn't have a lot of visitors, but it was just nice to spend an hour with the chief. So, didn't have anything of significance to report at this time. He's had some interesting arrests, but he can't report on them yet because he doesn't have all his information right. But I said, well, we'll meet again in 3 weeks, and don't forget, because I'm curious. So,
Yeah, that's just a reminder, we get the kind of the call log for the month at the first meeting for the previous month, so.
and, he talked about the traffic sign request that the mayor just talked about. Mike Maples is working with Greg Strzok about that, process. And we talked a lot about the building, and we have it talked about things in their infancy. This is purely in its infancy, but we got a, sort of a floor plan, dreamy kind of thing, and, but we talked a lot about that and funding. And there's gonna be $300,000 for roads. Well, if we need to procure land, it's $300,000.
So as we have been drafting and making plans for kind of future years on resort tax, there was a $300,000 kind of designated as we've been building that budget for a land acquisition. At the time, we were actually looking at the piece of property on Broadway down the old mine parking lot, as a possible acquisition for the city and something that would be beneficial for the city. But at the same time, someplace to build the police station and kind of having that be our toe or our stake in the process, if we could get some funding, was part of that conversation. And so as we move into the budgeting stage, we'll relabel that, and it won't be land acquisition anymore. It'll just be match funds if we're able to get a grant to build that police department. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, that was kind of it.
Questions from the rest of council? All right, thank you.
Thank
With that, we will go to admin and finance,
Okay.
and I will look to committee chair Ronnie. Even though it's not in front of me, I know who it is.
I know, okay. So I just wanted to say on the resort tax survey, if you're having trouble clicking on that, it could be a pop-up blocker, but you could also just hover over that and copy that link, open up a new browser, and paste the link into the browser, and it should open. Try that as well. So just because I just did that and it worked that way
Okay, so
too.
we will update those instructions online, understanding
Yeah.
that people have different settings on their browsers.
But as part of the Resort Tax Committee and Admin and Finance, we really do want everyone's input on that. So please, if you have problems, please call the city front desk and there.
And tell your friends.
Please, yes, tell your friends. The more we participate in that, the better. We discussed several things at our meeting. We will be having a resolution establishing the Main Street Board that should be coming up probably at our next meeting under the fold. We've had discussed on who would be on that board. It'll probably be a 7-member board made up of stakeholders plus 2 at-large people to just kind of round out the mix. As everyone probably knows, or if you don't, Red Lodge is a Main Street community, and we have been since 2016. And so we're just formalizing that board as part of the city. So there's a process we have to go through to do that. We went through the public health and safety grant application. We just kind of talked there again about applying for that grant, the new police, the build for the new police department. And as Ann has said, it's definitely in its infancy. And we have to get the grant before we could even think about doing anything with that. We will also be talking about the allocation of resources, coming up with that match, if we do get the grant. So.
Can I add one note
yes,
that I just thought of that?
Yep.
We do have again, slated in this upcoming tab, there was a request, and so it's not the current budget year, but the upcoming budget year. We had allocated $50K for a PAR, which is what takes that rough floor map that Ann was sharing, and turns that into an official document. It's the same thing where we reach out and they say, here's the practical, here's our recommendation and why, and here's the alternatives and the cost of running it. So same thing as we've done with our water and our sewer and our stormwater and what we're having the ice folks do with the ice rink, et cetera. So that is also set up in the budget to take that from dreamland to tell us how to make this a real project. Thank you.
Yep, no, that's great. The other two things we discussed was the annexation of the city of Red Lodge into Red Lodge Rural Fire Department versus Public Health and Safety mill levy on deciding the mayor's preference is to do the annexation. But in the meantime, we are also planning, in case that doesn't happen, we're moving forward with the Public Health and Safety mill levy. The timeline, it has to be to the county by August 10th. So we'll be moving forward with both projects at once. But if we get the petition done to annex into the fire department, we will not probably do the mill levy.
And August 10th is the petition.
So August 10th is to get something on the ballot, to get the Public Health and Safety
Okay.
mill levy on the ballot.
And if I may,
Yes.
with your blessing, also you recall that last year we had a ballot language to not allow marijuana grow businesses within the city limit we've already done. So we'll be resubmitting that now that there's a ballot going out too.
Yes,
So
no, this is
we have council approve it and say we want it there, and then we can not put it on if we don't want to.
Yeah.
So in other words, you didn't want to spend $4,000 on the marijuana thing.
Yeah.
So you saved it for a year. Got it.
'Cause,
Yes.
yeah.
No one was.
Save
With-
money.
And we got an owl instead.
I know. No one was,
I
no
really
one
hope
was
that
lined up
wasn't
to start a grow
happening.
operation in town, so we know it anyway. So, any other comments from the rest of admin and finance?
Nope, that captured it, I think.
Any questions for admin and finance from the rest of council? Lonnie, is there anything you want to add? I know from a staff position, that's the one you're tied most closely to.
Yeah, no, budget, I guess, isn't coming up soon, so probably next month we'll kind of hit that hard. I'm still waiting to get, department budgets back, and then I can get them all plugged in. And then workers' comp, MMIA is dropping us. They're dropping everybody.
Oh,
So
They're ceasing to exist workers' comp.
yeah, just workers' comp, everything else is still fine. I do have a
Vote?
yes, quote, sorry.
Through Montana State Fund?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did get one from them. So, the council had to,
And will you remind me of the deadlines? Is that with the budget year that it ends?
yeah, so it ends June 30th, so we'll have to have something, but they
Like in
don't,
trip and
We'll have to bring an approval to council to authorize us to move forward with that from a city standpoint, and then that'll be paid for within the budget that gets approved in August or September, way
yeah,
down
they
the
don't
road.
have their final rates, but they did give, in their quote, it's a pretty close, they didn't think it'll go up a whole lot from their quote, but, yeah, so that's pretty much,
Did you go direct
So
to
that
them, or
was
did
the
you go to
pipeline.
them?
I just went direct to them.
Thank you. Anything else, Lonnie? Thank you. All right. Land use and planning, and we'll go to Councilmember Tupin.
So we had a pretty stacked agenda with lots of conversations. Specifically, conversation was centered around Municipal Code Title 8, Chapter 8, use of city-owned land specific to protests and expressive use. We found in our current municipal code that everyone is supposed to apply for event permits and pay the fee for an event permit. So essentially, to really summarize, the intent that we felt was within our municipal code was to encourage and allow for expression and protest, and really support that First Amendment right of the people. And we feel that the way that our current title is written is not necessarily conducive to that. So we want to change our title, or change this to read a little bit more friendly, to essentially remove application fees, still request or require notice for protests, just for public health and safety purposes, to make sure that we, one, are aware of things that are happening and make sure that we are providing suitable protection as needed. But really trying to encourage expression and protest, and the use of people's First Amendment rights, and not trying to limit that. And I just want to make sure before I write some amendments along with Dennison, our attorney, that the rest of council is on the same page, that they feel. One of the questions that we did have was confirming insurance, because part of the current,
Large
rules-
versus small.
well, yeah, specifically the current application requirements, that's what I'm looking for. Apologies, my brain just, but the requirements currently are, you fill in the application for $25. You want the exclusive use, it's $50 to essentially rent the city-owned land. And then in large-scale events over 75, insurance is required, or for any exclusive use, insurance is required. We want to make sure, because we don't necessarily want it to be a requirement to have insurance, as long as the city is still protected by our current insurance policies, to have that in place. So we want to confirm that prior to saying that it is not required, but it is the goal that we don't have anything that would hinder the ability for people to have public speaking. Yeah.
So I guess I'm not, if we make it exempt from the application, then they're exempt from everything. All they have to do, because right now, the only reason why they're having to fill out an application, I think, is because under F, it says, coming into public knowledge less than 48 hours prior to such event may be conducted on city property without a permit. So if you just write spontaneous events involving solely expressive activity, which are occasioned by news or affairs coming into public knowledge less than 48 hours. So if you just struck that from it, wouldn't you be okay? Because it would be exempt.
The discussion was that they're just going to add a completely separate line item.
Yeah.
So keep that one there, because there still could be 48-hour stuff that comes up.
Correct, and I think
So,
that was the
yeah.
big thing, Jody, is when thinking about this, we want to maintain the spontaneous and
Right.
the 48 hours, specifically with the rules underneath that, but we also want to include an additional one that is, for instance, like the No Kings. That is not in response to a 48-hour event. It's timed and planned ahead.
Right.
And so specifically, we want to make sure that people have that opportunity to protest, but still are required to provide notice.
So it's basically
The
just
same way
solely
that-
expressive,
Yep.
protest.
Correct.
So-
And so specifically, like if you look down below,
What page are we on?
apologies.
884.
So it's 884, item F,
Oh, okay.
so page
Yep.
2. Specifically, if you're looking at number 2 under F,
Yes,
there is that section of
providing
give notice at least
Yep.
6 hours, and I don't even think I'll put 6 hours, but providing notice to the city with the date, time of the event, and provide an estimate, just basically creating a application light,
So
is
you-
kind of what we discussed. So
Okay.
that way, if, for instance, it is something that may be, conflicting, or, what's a good word for?
I think just
angry?
awareness, so we can be prepared for it.
Yeah,
is-
that's,
is-
I think a big part of it is that preparedness, making sure that if it is something that may require additional security or public health and safety, that we are ready for
So
that.
you're
And that
just, you
won't
would
be a
still,
it won't be a sub-item of F, it'll be at that same
It'll
level.
be like
You
a
have an
G.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
G.
Yeah,
So it's going to be exempt though from the permit process.
correct.
Okay, so then you won't have to worry, if it's exempt from the permit process, then it's exempt
Well-
from the insurance and everything.
Well, but her goal is, how do we, it might not be completely exempt, it might be something light, because we still need to have notification.
Right, so if we,
So-
the preferred route is to exempt it, but if there is some reason that we do need to have insurances in place, we want to make sure that that is covered. And that, again, it's mostly just making sure from a liability standpoint and a safety standpoint,
Right,
because if something were to happen and the city's liable, or, again, you know, something terrible goes down, we don't necessarily want that, we don't want that liability. So, and specifically, I just want to make sure before writing that we are in the clear, because the intent is to provide freedoms freedom
Right.
of speech, all of that, but at the same time, we also don't want to hurt people.
And the current discussion is that they would also be exempt from the $25 administration fee.
And
Right,
regardless,
yeah.
they'd be
So,
exempt
yeah.
from that,
But,
so,
so that's kind of to just make sure that the council's all on the same page.
yeah.
As I understand it, the goal is to remove all financial barriers
Correct.
to anything that's solely expressive activity.
Yes.
If that's the wish of council, that's the
Right.
question.
That is
So-
absolutely the goal,
Okay.
and finding, to make sure that we're in the clear though, and that's, we do have that request already into the
Yep.
city to make sure that our insurance is solid for that, because it brought up the question of like, okay, if it's not gonna cover 76 people in a park at once, then what happens when we just have 76 people in Lions Park and they're not necessarily there for an event? Like, so that brings another
No,
red
that's-
flag.
That's different. That's just the use of the city park.
So-
But yeah,
That-
it just,
it's
again,
not-
the way that it was
yeah.
presented to me in that meeting made it sound like
No,
that
that-
we're not covered after a certain amount of people.
No,
We need to
So-
verify.
no, that, the 75, that, it has nothing to do with that, because I helped write this. It's under 75, it's a different price,
Right,
and and you only need the permit if it's for exclusive use, or you're gonna have more than 75 people at your event.
right.
That was the deal. So if it's just people hanging out in the park, it's just people hanging out in the park, and you have coverage. I mean,
Okay,
that's just the way it is.
okay, then
And-
if that's the
yeah,
case, then I'm
yeah.
not worried then.
So,
So I
yeah.
think it's very likely we can
Yeah.
make this all exempt and
Yeah.
all hunky-dory.
Yeah, so it was just two different applications, one for under 75, like I just want to rent the gazebo,
Mhm.
reserve the gazebo because I'm going to have an event and I want exclusive use of it. I want it reserved. I don't want to show up and have someone else there.
Yeah,
And versus, over 75, where I'm going to have a rehearsal dinner or something like that, and I'm expecting 75 people, then it's a higher use of the park, so it was a different application, and you need more liability insurance,
Yep.
a higher level. You need liability insurance for both.
yep,
It's just a higher, one you can probably use your homeowners or your renter's insurance for,
Mhm.
the other you probably need an event policy for.
So, but part of Councilmember Tupin's point that she's raising is if the way we address it is by adding it under exemptions, we have to at the same time make an alternative way for them to notify the city to make it clear so that the city's
Right.
aware.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
And then the other section that'll probably be adjusted in like format is under 887, where it says cost of recovery. It says if the event involves solely expressive activity and they can waive the fee for an indigent person, we're gonna just get rid of that altogether. And probably just by virtue of the fact that it's exempt means that part will
We're
probably just
gonna
go
leave the
away.
indigent in, but,
For other facilities.
but not, yeah, it's just, I think it got convoluted, so that will be retweaked.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but specifically, just want to make sure before writing this up that the rest of council feels similar in the fact that we feel people should be allowed to speak and
Yeah,
embrace
not pay for
their, and not pay for it. They should not be hindered by financial means to have a protest, period.
I concur.
Okay, lovely.
Yes.
Otherwise, one of the other conversations that we have that will be continuing, is the Red Lodge Ice Kickoff meeting planning. Specifically, we've been talking about who will be participating within that meeting, what exactly that meeting is. We had a very good conversation about that as well. Requests for public records in regard to that meeting, as well as how to address and request or include requests for additional information. So, that was the bulk of our meeting. We also had the rodeo MOU, the donation of the city trail process for parks. We have a lot we're working on, just one piece at a time.
It's kind of fun and exciting that land use is where all the action is.
Dude, this is the coolest committee, for the record.
Councilmember Rude?
Kickoff, when's that kickoff?
We don't have that planned yet.
Okay.
So that is something that will be getting scheduled once Red Lodge Ice has their professionals hired, and so prior to that. Once we have a scheduled scheduled meeting, that will be
Is
noted.
Red Lodge Ice communicating with you about who they're gonna hire?
Me
or-
personally, no.
Oh, not- I mean,
In the PAR that we put forth, they have to get the city staff buy-off before they do the PAR. So we are gonna have input before the RFQ goes out.
good.
And then we also have staff input on the kickoff meeting, which is the one that Chelsea's talking about.
Yeah, so there'll be, and staff input will be heavily involved with that meeting. But yeah, I
Any
think
decision on taking minutes of this meeting?
that was one thing that we did discuss for the
Okay.
request for public record, and I think that having it recorded and having that information available is important.
And I'm waiting for feedback from Dennison.
Gotcha. Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, end of the day, to me, like, I don't necessarily think that it should be something that is a community discussion, but I think that it should be community involvement, if that makes sense. And then there should be all the information available for what was said and what was happening throughout the meeting.
Great, thank you.
And I think that having it open to the public is fine as long as participation is reasonable, if that makes sense.
Good.
So keeping it structured,
Anything else, Councilmember Tupin?
that's it.
Any questions from the rest of council for land use and planning? All right, seeing none, let's progress to Public Works, which is, we will look to Councilmember Ronning, Committee Chair Ronning for that.
All right, Mike was gone, but he did give us a great Public Works update. Dave covered a lot of it. But we are getting ready to, sign the Republic Services contract, so that will be coming up in, below the fold here, or above the fold, I guess, once we get it, because it's gonna be kind of a short notice kind of thing. But,
If we get it enough to send it out to council and the council is okay putting it above the fold, what we may do is put it above the fold and then we can always just move it off if there's anything that somebody's not happy with.
okay. So, and we are working on, we started the project of, trying to codify our policies and procedures governing our residential trash cans. So that will probably be coming up, in a month or so. We're discussing that right now and, using some other cities' ordinances that they have in place and tweaking them for us. So that will be coming up as well. And then, fun things, the pool, they already have 6 lifeguards certified, so, I know, so. yeah,
Six,
so-
but they need adult.
Yeah, but they need a lot,
Yeah.
6 adult lifeguards certified. So hey, summer is coming, as we all know, so. Pride Park's in the final stages of design, so that will, that upgrade to Pride Park will be happening here this summer, hopefully. Let's see, what else does he have on here? You already talked about the 50/50. The FEMA Bank Stabilization Project was awarded Project of the Year by the American Public Works Association, Rocky Mountain Chapter. So that was exciting stuff. And the award will be presented at the Rocky Mountain Chapter Conference in Jackson, Wyoming, April 16th. So let's all go. And
Can't afford it.
I know. Is there anything else you want to?
Yeah, if I can use this opportunity to correct the statement I made earlier. So the EDA street grant, by the way, was already awarded last year, so we should get that scheduled sooner rather than later to get posted out. The one I was speaking of earlier, is the water one, that we are planning on advertising that, in March 26th and letting that know. There's a calendar we've got for the pre-bid, and basically we're looking at that. That will be the April 28th meeting, is the water one that I anticipate coming to council for approval. But again, after it's gone through the bid openings and then they make their recommendation from that. So I apologize, I was convoluting that and EDA in my mind. The EDA stuff's already awarded, but still we need to get those dates out to people as soon as we have them. But those are the 2 projects that will be disrupting traffic a lot this year that we'll have to schedule and work around. Thank you.
Yes, and Patty, anything that I missed? Anything from Parks you want to talk about? Okay, all right, that's it from Public Works.
Anything else from the rest of council for Public Works? All right, seeing none. Correspondence.
We got a lot of it.
Councilmember Davis, I think you had a specific one you wanted to follow up on too.
Oh,
You
because of
reached out-
making that?
Yeah, you said somebody had reached out to you. I don't know if you had a chance to see that response yet. about-
No, I
You said,
didn't.
how do I handle it? Correspondence is a great place to bring it up and share it.
I had someone from Ward 1, reach out to me and tell me that they didn't feel like the ice rink should be the main topic of conversation. They thought it was a waste of everyone's time. in a nutshell, in my summary of their opinion. And, they said that it should be focused on, housing, workforce housing. So,
And that was, they had said they were gonna follow up with you and hadn't yet,
Yes.
so you were concerned about how to get the information out, so.
right, thank you so much. So, I will text the number that called me while I was driving and, and get their contact information and whatever, and I'll send that to Lonnie when I have it.
Councilmember Tukin?
I also spoke with this individual,
Oh, you
Ward
did?
One. Yep. So,
Okay.
yeah, no, and very, yeah, pretty much the same conversation. Specifically was concerned that we were allocating resources and time and energy spent on that topic, on ice skating versus other topics. Specifically, he said if we could have been working on workforce housing, we could have potentially had a plan or a solution in place. He also had concerns of the community entrance, specifically the county land north of Beartooth Electric, just looking pretty cluttered at the moment. And I told him, don't worry, I'm sure the owner of that property will be developing it in very short order. That is just who he is as a human.
And any other correspondence to share with council? This is the opportunity to just kind of make sure if you've had any conversations that everybody's aware of them to the best we can.
Thank you.
All right, hearing none. Oh, did I hear one? Okay. Hearing none, what we will do is we will go to public comment. Again, I apologize. I normally call this out at the beginning of the meeting to let people know that there's a public comment at the beginning of the meeting as well as the end of the meeting. So this is your chance to be heard by council on anything within council's jurisdiction. Just to clarify, it's not a discussion and a back and forth, so if you'll just direct your comments to the table, we'll take notes, and at the end of public comment, I will allow, if council wants to add anything back, I will provide an opportunity for council to go ahead and address that. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and open public comment. We'll look to the room first. Come on up.
Well, there's no point in coming all the way down here without at least standing up.
Okay.
Right.
So I just want to say thank you for allowing a bunch of old blank ladies to make their voice heard on Main Street.
Thank you.
Thank you. And your name, just for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry. Christine Mulaney, 406 North Haven.
Christine Mulaney, thank you. All right, any other comment from within the room? Seeing none, I'm looking online. Oh, wait, go ahead. Stand up, and if you state your name, please. And it'll work better if you come up because the mic's up here.
They're all afraid of the owl.
It does have kind of creepy eyes, doesn't it?
It's quite a color if you don't speak. So, yes. And, you know, thank you for all your work, because we're tracking some of these committee meetings and realize that you guys really are carrying a lot of load, covering a lot of issues, and so thanks. On the ICE thing, just to add some comments to it, been very receptive to our comments. When you get down to the RFP about what this engineering firm or whoever is going to be engaged to cost out this program, be sure to make it comprehensive. And I think we've touched on that a little bit at Chelsea's council. Not just the cost of laying the cement, but the enduring cost that we will be stuck with, maintenance and endurance and operations, and who is going to cover that. Surely that might be discussed in the MOU with the ICE Club, but we need to see a draft of that RFP or whatever you're calling it before it goes out, so that we can comment on that and make sure that it's comprehensive enough that we all know what we're all looking at for a future obligation. So, thanks again, guys. Appreciate being there.
Thank you, Betsy. Any other discussion within the room? Seeing none in the room, I'm changing my focus to online. That Melissa, would you like to speak? I see a mic.
I would. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Signed MOU. I can hear you.
Awesome. Just a follow-up comment, I guess, on the tennis courts and the school lease boundary. Because there are several other parcels down there in Coal Miners Park that have other activities that are city focused, I would recommend that we have a robust discussion about reworking that lease boundary to include all of Coal Miners Park that is north of the berm, so that we're not having the zigzag line that exists now. It resolves a problem with Red Lodge Disc Golf, Beartooth Trails, etc. So, and it sounds like we're resolving that issue for tennis courts, but I would just suggest that when we look at that school lease boundary, we take the big jag out of it that's up there that starts to impact the soccer field and other things, and just bring it right to the edge of their parking lot. So that's my suggestion.
Thank you, Melissa. Any other comments online? Call for public comments second time? And third time for public comments? We'll go ahead and close public comment. Actually, Jeremy, you're our newest council member now. Would you like to make a motion on number 12?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Wow. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks for coming.